Martin?
You there? There we are.
Good
There we are.
gosh.
All right. I'm just gonna laugh for a few minutes. So you have two Google accounts? Is that the situation?
I guess so. I'm not sure. Although, I don't know. Google Plus just makes me feel like I've never used a computer before. It, it's, it's like you click on your name and it opens up analytics, and I'm just. Uh,
That's funny. Because I sent it to like several different to your email. I sent it straight to your email. I sent it to your Google, the one I had circled under Google Plus.
yeah, the one that ended up working was the one that got sent directly to my email that goes on my site. And yeah, so I don't know. um, Anywho, yeah, how are you?
I'm doing well. Yeah, now that we've caught back up. Yeah, things have been good. Got a new book coming out. Hopefully here sometime in April. Once I get once my editor finishes a second round of double checking me and going through it, and so I'm going to be I'm going to try something new this time around with my email list, where I've asked people on my email list to I've taken like a small group of my email people and made them my street team, and so like they'll get a free copy of the book, and I'll give them several weeks to read the book, and so hopefully that then on the day that the book gets released, I can email them and go, okay, book's out now. Can you leave a review on Amazon? Because I've been reading, as you know how important reviews are in this game, and especially as in terms of what am I thinking of, algorithms, that a book with 10 reviews is going to get more also bots or notices than a book with 3 reviews. So we're going to try that, try something new. I didn't have a mailing list, let me rephrase that. I had a 2 to 3 person mailing list with my last book. And so that was a mailing list where, like, I'd seen some authors where they were like, what, I'm only gonna email you when I have a new book out. And so I tried that, and I had really 3 people. The grand total of the email list was 4 people, and I was one of them, just to see that the email worked. And then I think I've seen some other authors do it, and it's almost like, I'll hear from them like once every 6 months, and it's, like, hey, here's a new book. And I'm like, it sounds nice that you're not going to flood my email address or my inbox every couple of times, but it didn't work for me, that when I'd sent it out to this handful of people, and I know that only one person out of the email list, there's 3 people, got the new book. So I redid my email list and tried to send out like, updates, a little bit more updates, sending up like cover updates, like here's the new cover, here's what I'm working on, here's what I'm reading, here's some recommendations. So, every week or so, every couple of weeks, just like, hey, how you doing? And just kind of see how that's gone. And that's worked. That's grown more than the one before. So that seems to, I'm going to keep trying that. And then out of that group, I'd ask people, I say, if you're interested, it'd be great help to me if you could, leave a review, be it a blog post, but especially on Amazon. And the goal is you will get a formatted, finished book before everybody else. But the trade-off is that on the day that I release it, I'm going to spam you to go, hey, here's a list, here's the link. Can you please leave a nice note on Amazon, and hopefully that'll help. Because I've seen some other people just in my reading and seeing some other people that were successful, that seems to help. So we'll find out in April how well that goes.
What day in April?
I don't know. The more I do this, the more I realize I never meet a deadline. Because I had done I just did a blog post about it recently, where with my last picture book, I'd actually done a pre-release page with Amazon. I tried the new pre-release, kind of situation. And what I found out was, it's kind of it's a neat idea, but there were two. The main problem I found with it is that when you have a pre-release as an independent author on Amazon, you don't have a customer can't download a preview of the book. You have to upload, and so what it dawned on me was that the only people going to pre-buy a book are people that are already going to buy the book anyway. People that know me, or few people they're not going to take the risk on a book that you can't preview, and if they don't already know you. Also, I thought, that in Kobo and in iTunes, let's say if you have this, however long your pre-release window is, say 4 weeks. I set it up on March the 1st, and then, but it goes live on March 31st. And so all those sales, I think, on Kobo and iTunes don't count on your ranking until the day it's released of March 31st, which would be a wonderful way to bounce. But that's not the way Amazon plays the game. With Amazon, with my last book, I'd done 3 or 4 weeks of a pre-release. Well, because it was a standalone book, it was not. You couldn't do a preview. The handful of sales that it had, that by the time it, that when a pre-release was purchased, that would affect its sales. That by the time it was actually available to download and purchase, there wasn't like 10 sales in a day. That even for a small book, 10 sales on a children's book could get you at least on some tiny bestseller list. That it was spread out over 3 or 4 weeks, and so I was like, okay, that experiment didn't work. So this time around, I'm not going to try the pre-release. I'll just give it to a very select people that have signed up on a very specific mailing list.
I wish I would talk to you ahead of time, because I just put up my first book up for pre-release. In the past, I've struggled with Amazon because they want you to do it so far in advance and then get it ready in advance, and I tend to work too fast to even have it. So this middle grade novel that I've been working on for a long time now is almost ready, and I just put it up for pre-sale on Amazon. But yeah, I kind of wish that it would have done it through other platforms now. But what's done is done. There's definitely a live and learn kind of aspect to it, because I kind of thought too that with the pre-release, I thought, hey, that's cool. I might not make a lot of sales, but if I can take the very few sales that I would get on the book and then cram them into one day, that could be almost like a super bouncy ball, and get it noticed, but that wasn't how it worked. So we're going to try something new this time. I will say this, it does make you look more professional, I think, because when I put it out on Facebook for the first time, my friends were like, "Ooh, you have a new book, and Amazon knows it's coming, and it's and so it does kind of have that effect." But anyway, so that's what we're going to try this time around. I want to check in. How did the blog hop go? How did the blog tour go? We're still it was a good experience. I'll put it that way.
Good phrase. Good phrase.
Yeah.
Good phrase.
I mean, there's another blog hop to do. We haven't. I don't have any information about that yet.
Mm.
Probably one of the big lessons was that I should have taken a book that was unknown. Um,
Right.
because I did publicity on my best known title, um, which probably in retrospect wasn't a good idea because it was already known. Um, and I would have actually much rather done the publicity for this book that's coming out, um,
Hmm.
because there's one of my problems with was with the size, the length of the book. It's not the
Hmm.
Monster Ate My Socks isn't a very large book. Soaked is, and it's like it looks like a one of your books, like something big and meaty, like to hold.
My books are about 100 pages. Let's don't get too excited.
Middle grade. Um, so the publicity, the blog tour and stuff. I think that right now I'm taking kind of a wait and see approach.
Hmm.
Some things take a lot longer to percolate than others, and sometimes you do things and you never those seeds don't grow. So um, we'll see. It's another live and learn experience, I guess. And as you said, there's a lot of things that are live and learn experiences.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, there's nobody. There's very few books that say do A, B, and C, and then D, E, and F
I don't
will actually happen.
I don't think that there is a template anymore for these sorts of things. I think that
Mhm.
everybody's finding kind of their own thing, and you may have great success with these front runner people that you're creating, and while I seem to be okay on Twitter. I get contacted on Twitter now to be like an influencer, and I'm an influencer, and they're like sell your influence to your fans, and I'm like I'd like to sell my own stuff to my fans. I don't think I
That's
can.
interesting. I hadn't heard that. That's the first time I've heard of that. Yeah,
uh,
because I was going to say for a while there, when I first followed you on Twitter, you weren't. You don't have the numbers that you have now. I guess would be the best way to say it. How did you? I hadn't thought about that. How did you find your Twitter following? How did
I,
you? What do you think you did to get that to work?
well, it was. I mean, I could tell you, it was following people. You follow
Hmm.
people, and they follow back, and you grow it that
Hmm.
way. The issue with doing that, though, is that you get kind of low interactivity. A lot of
Right.
people that just automatically follow back, they don't really read their
Hmm.
Twitter feeds and stuff. So after I hit a certain point, I stopped doing that and started doing more content. And at first, um, it's just kind of content that I found through Buffer, and that would provide
Right.
some stuff. And then as I was able to do my own things on the website and my blog, I started putting in my own content. And then the Fellow Fridays thing started, and that was a great thing because the people are promoting themselves too. And you get retweets for them promoting it, you're promoting them. There's this whole kind of reciprocal thing that happens. And I of the people that I've had on Fellow Fridays, most of them still stay in touch on Twitter, and
Right.
I don't know how much publicity I actually offer people, but I
Right.
think that at the end of the day, I offer encouragement, um,
Yeah.
to say like keep going, like uh, and so that combined with my new strategy of just randomly pulling quotes from authors, posting it up, and I've had some, um, I've gone to some dark places with that. There was because Goodreads has this wonderful feature where you can look up quotes from authors, and I'll just like pull something like um, reading. Okay, like reading is the pleasure of the day or something. Mark Twain, whatever. And those are all great. And then the one that I pulled a couple of weeks ago was I just was like life and started finding all these quotes, and every author has at least one quote talking about how awful life is. And
Nice.
I started getting messages from my fans being like, "What is going on with you? Like, what is this is awful."
We need to call
like,
somebody. I'm looking you up right now on my phone to see what I've missed.
And the last one is about love. I make sure and I automate my Twitter, and I try to. There's always content. There's always like a quote or something, just always going.
Yeah.
And then I pepper all of that stuff in with actual content about my work. And
Right.
like yesterday, there was a blog article about one of my books being pirated, and that got some retweets. And
Yeah, I saw that. Actually, I didn't see that on Twitter. I think I might have seen that on the Facebook page. I didn't look at the blog post, but as I was scrolling through it, and I just remember thinking, "Oh, I'm gonna have to go back and take a look at that." What did you tell me about that?
Received a Google. I have a Google alert set up with my name, and
Hmm.
we got one about a forum and a book that I did called Little Star. And Little Star is one of my favorites, but it's a title that I pulled. Nobody, it just didn't get any response, and it was such a personal piece that kind of I took it down. I'm like, maybe it's not its time yet.
Right. Right.
And so to find this web forum where somebody says, I can't find this book. Where can I find this book? And at first I was very much like, oh my gosh, somebody knows about this thing and is looking for it. But as you read through the forum, there were a lot of clues. Like one was, my local bookstore doesn't carry it, and I can't find it in print anywhere. And I'm like, well, it's a Kindle only, so that's clue number one. And then there's like this anti-piracy like comment that says, don't pirate books, because you got to support authors, and if you don't support authors, they can't write more. And then the next one was, hey, I found the book. It's in this lending library, this KindleBookLibrary.com. And so you click on the link, and it takes you to download littlestar.mobi, and it's not the book. We believe it's actually a virus.
Oh.
So not only, and I've been pirated before. The Monster Ate My Socks was pirated on a Chinese website claiming to be Groupon. So you could, through the power of multiple people, you could spend 75 cents rather than $1.25 to purchase the book, and that was sort of resolved by contacting Amazon's legal department. They have an entire legal team dedicated to this, but these websites, you shut them down and they're foreign. We have no control over their servers, so they just pop up somewhere else. And so the most that you can do is they can do a DNS range blocking, an IP address range blocking, to block the DNS sites for that IP address, but they just change the server settings, and voila, it's back up. So that's a little depressing, but I took offense to it being a virus, and I put up on Reddit. I referenced the blog. I wrote a blog, put this all down in a blog post, and then put it up on Reddit, and put it to the writing group, to the writing forum, like, hey, this is happening to me. I want people to be aware of it,
Right.
so that that they can check on their own work, or if they encounter something like this, that it's a virus. And first half of the day, I just got trolled with comments. There was a guy that was like, why would your book contain a virus? and I'm just like, I don't even know why I try anymore with this internet thing. Like, so, and then I started getting some people that were genuinely concerned for it and were genuinely like,
Mhm.
I would be devastated if that happened to me, and a couple of people wanted to buy copies of it, and
Right.
I ended up just sending them the file and just being like,
Right.
I probably am going to redo that book as a PDF and just put it out there for free because
Right.
um, it just feels it feels like the right thing to do. I don't know.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
I think that we need to have a discussion about that out in the public, and as children's book authors, as writers, as anybody concerned with an economic model, that
Right.
why there's such an uphill battle to get success, and then once you actually
Mhm.
get it, there's just vultures waiting to knock you down and to take what you got. Monster Ate My Socks, it's a compliment because it was being pirated right alongside Hunger Games and Harry Potter and all these other like top selling books, which is awesome. Compliment, thank you.
Mhm.
But at the same
Right.
time, like, it's a punishment for doing well. um,
Well, you almost have to, my thought is, off the top of my head, my question would be, well, if somebody's going to pirate a children's book, are they really your audience anyway? Or I don't know. That's kind of, yeah, I don't know, who is exactly, my question is who exactly is pirating, a $2, $1 to $3 children's book? Who's taking the time to rip the file, put it up on the internet, you know, create a virus out of it? That's just, I don't know. That just seems, I don't
I,
know. I don't know how to respond to it.
I, I don't know
You know.
either. I don't know if I've reached a point where, I mean, that's another compliment too. If I have that much pull now,
Hmm.
which I don't know if my sales reflect that, but but the I don't know. I don't know. I know the people
Uh-huh.
who are selling it are just trying. They're making a living any way that they can, and
Right.
yes, it's the same mentality as the Nigerian email scammers. So
Hmm.
yeah, that's fine, and that is a good point about the audience. The thing that is frustrating on my end is that how much I give away. I give away
Hmm.
thousands of books, and
Hmm.
it's never enough,
Sure. Right.
and it's just so strange. That was one of the weird things with the blog tour was I got contacted by a lady that I had shipped her a copy of the print book. I had gifted her a copy
Hmm.
of the digital book, and she was also giving one away in a contest, and
Right.
contacted me saying that she wanted to keep the ones. She had given one away to her friend. She wanted to keep the one for the contest, and if I could send additional ones so she could actually have the contest.
Hey,
I was like, it's $1.25. Like, like,
yeah, because like I've given away. What I have found is that what I've been doing with my email list is giving away five. Because I only have five. I have five paperbacks out that I'll choose somebody that's been interacting on the email list, and send them signed copies of all five. And I've done that twice. And what I've noticed is that those two people have now become bigger fans. Like I've noticed that on Facebook they'll share my stuff. They also interact with every email I send out, and so you know, for me, I kind of like that. It would be weird if they email me and say, can you send me another paperback? Well, that's like $20. you know.
yeah, no, I'm glad that you're getting that kind of interactivity with it back. I do, like, anybody who contacts me through Facebook or stuff.
Right.
If they'll send me their address,
Uh-huh.
I send them little presents. There was a lady that her grandchildren love Closet Creep, which is one of the
Mhm.
Monsters A to Z monsters.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sorry, I was so surprised by that. I was just like, really? Like that one? Like, but you know what? God bless them. And uh, I did some drawings for them and sent them out, and just was
Oh,
like,
that's awesome.
thank you so much, because that's, how cool is it for them to like that creature, and for her to contact me, and I want to reward that. So anybody that has contacted me,
Yeah.
I've tried to do stuff like that. But yeah, you're right. Those are the people that become your evangels, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and there's a book called Brains on Fire. It's a marketing
Mm-hmm.
book. It
Mm-hmm.
sounds like you've read it.
No, I haven't. Probably some similar stuff that I'm working under the theory of if you can have 1,000 true fans, then you have a career. So I'm kind of like, I think, I'm not to 1,000 yet. I think, judging by email list, which I'm like, I tend to go, okay, we're at 60. That's better than zero.
You're doing better than me. I don't know.
Well, here's, I've started the email list, and this is what I've discovered about the email list. And if you're on my email list, thank you for those people that may watch this. The information that you get on an email list is you get so much more information about how people interact with your content than you do on Twitter or Facebook. I get down to who has opened the email. I get down to who has clicked through and bought certain things. I get, and what they've clicked on. I even get how many times they open the email. Why, and I guess people accidentally do that maybe on their phones or whatever. They've gone back and do it.
One thing,
But once I started doing that, I was like, that is fascinating. That's
one thing,
fascinating information.
one thing to remember about that is it doesn't count headline reads, or I don't know if you have a Mac, don't you?
No, I don't. I'm one of the evil people. uh, yeah, I'm still a PC person.
PC users.
Yet I'm also a photographer and a writer, and yet you don't use a Mac. I'm like, sorry.
Like Outlook or OS Mail. If you have, if you click on the message and then it appears in the window on the right hand side, that's
Right.
not technically an open.
Right.
It will, the HTML code will only respond if you double click that and open up the email. So that's the open rate is actually always going to report lower than it actually is. So it's just something to keep in mind. But I've never had anybody respond to one of my emails. I mean, I can see clicks, I can see opens, but it sounds like they're actually emailing you back.
I'll actually ask them to. I will. When I had the first surge back in November, what had happened was a colleague of mine has a very popular teacher blog, and she put the link out. I mean, like, as in, like, she has like at that time it was like 5,000 or 6,000 followers on Facebook, and she has a very and she's doing very well on the teacher site, Teacher Pay Teachers, and so we worked together, and so she sent it out, and all of a sudden my inbox was flooded with new people joining the email list. So I just sent out an email just saying, all right, hey guys, glad you joined me. How did you find me? It's just so I could know. And then they responded back how they found me. And then, I even had my own father one time reply to an email because there were a couple of typos in the email. So my dad let me have it. And one email was like, there's a typo in every email. I consider it like, a prize if you could find it. So just be prepared. I approach it as you know, I'm just sending an email out to friends. Is the kind of the way I'll do it. I will put in links and stuff, but I try to make it a little bit more conversational as opposed to like, getting your alumni newsletter from your college with very formatted stuff. I'll send stuff out and like, hey guys, here's what I'm working on. Here's some stuff I'm reading. And then I will even ask back, hey, if you have a teacher pay teacher store or a blog you want me to share out or post, let me know. I had some good response around Christmas time. I had asked people, said, all right, send me some Christmas books that you have always liked, or, holiday books, be it Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever, that you have liked, and, I'll share it back out. Well, lo and behold, I got like 20 responses, so I couldn't share out all of them, but I went through and shared that out. So that was kind of a neat interaction. And then on top of it, just as a marketer for you, then that becomes an affiliate for you. You use the affiliate links for Amazon, and then you make a handful of dollars that way. Now, I've had what?
I haven't done any of that yet. Probably
it's
affiliate. All of it.
I got lucky in that at Christmas time I didn't post a Kindle, but the way the affiliate link works is absolutely fascinating, and you should do it. I would recommend doing it even for your own books. So like when you send out an email blast and you've got your new book out, and even if it's free, use it as an affiliate link, because if I click through your link and download your new book, get it for free, but then I go and buy something else on Amazon on the same visit, you get whatever infinitesimally small share of stuff that you get. And so that's kind of a neat way. And then you can also track it. Somebody bought a very expensive Kindle on one of my links over Christmas. I didn't advertise a Kindle, but on one of the books, one of the book links, they bought the book, and then they went through and bought a Kindle, and lo and behold, I had a decent payday for Christmas. I was like, okay, well, I will keep doing this. So, that was a nice press. That was a big wake up call right there. And so to be able to do that, and so that's interesting. So on my email list, like I will actually ask people, send me something that you're interested in or tell me what you want to know. With the new book, I had actually, just for the heck of it, been sending it in a Dropbox format. Just like here, I finished a chapter, it is unedited. There are mistakes in it, but if you want to look at it, go to town. And lo and behold, a handful of people actually clicked through, and a woman emailed back saying, thank you for sharing the book. That's very nice of you. And so, it just seems it's kind of a nice thing. It's very good interaction. I also tried, because I stole this idea from somebody else, and I call it Martin's Insider List. So, like, you can't get this information on Twitter, you can't get it on Facebook, you can't get it anywhere else. You have to join my email list. That velvet rope. Oh, you're in the group. Okay. And so that, so that's so that's fun for me. In fact, I went the other day. This was interesting. I was visiting another school in a professional development, and I ran into a teacher that I used to work with, and we were just shooting the breeze out in the hallway, and she looks at me and goes, oh, by the way, I'm on your list. Didn't say, I have, I'm on your email. She phrased it as, I'm on your list. Which I kind of thought was kind of cool there for a second. It's like, it's working. So yeah, so that was kind of cool. How did the one last one? How did the Kindle, the actual physical Kindle giveaway? How did that? Was that a part of the blog tour? How did that work?
That was a component of the blog tour that there were 4,500 people that entered that raffle, and I loaded them up with the Monster Ate My Socks, Monsters A to Z, Hug Bat, and I Don't Want to Go to School. Signed the back of them, put stickers on them so that it looked like I changed the cover art to Monster Ate My Socks on the cover of the thing.
Yeah, I saw that. I was wondering how you pulled that one off.
That's just stickers. And put the postcards. I had made postcards for the book fair, and then put some business cards in there as well. So yeah, this was a whole bunch of extra stuff. And then I shipped those off 2 days and put a little note in there being like, if you have any problems, if you have any questions, contact me. Please stay in touch. Never heard back from them. I sent those out about 2 weeks ago. And then a day after, well, no, the day that I put up on Facebook, like, hey, here are the Kindles that were won, and enter these raffles because people actually give stuff away. My like count on Facebook dropped from 2,000 to 1,860.
Right.
So, yeah. And I was just kind of like, okay, like,
well, I noticed that when I gave away my last, when I did my last giveaway of like my own 5 books, I announced it, and then I had like 3 or 4 people unsubscribe from the email list. So I was like, okay, because they hadn't won, and so I was like, that's fine. I just have learned that that's just part of the deal. They unsubscribe from any email list, and like from Facebook. Yeah, it's unfortunate you've got those. I guess I don't know what to call contests, or whatever. However else you want to do it.
Well,
tell me about the. Go ahead.
There's still people on Twitter retweeting the raffle promotion. I was just like, this ended over a week ago, but whatever. Like, I hope I'm not coming off as too negative today.
Well, that's why I had to postpone last week. If I had talked to you last week, I would have been like, nope. How did the school visit go? Or was it a school visit that you had done? Or
the last one that happened was fair? Fair, and the book fair was wonderful. It was a rainy day in Los Angeles, so not as many people showed up because we are terrified of rain out here. That's fine. But actually,
it's like snow in Virginia.
Yeah, I actually getting to talk to kids was really wonderful, and you're blessed by having access to your audience so much. I learned that I want to offer more of a variety, especially in print, especially at book fairs and things, because the girls felt left out, and I don't like that because a lot of my stories have girls as the main characters, or I try to incorporate girl characters that are non-standard, that aren't just like princessy, and the kids loved the iPad. I had a digital display with my work on the iPad, kind of rotating through, and everybody was attracted to that, except that we had one kid that started trying to find Minecraft on the iPad, and I was like, I don't have Minecraft. He's like, what? Yeah, you do.
That is not an iPad if there's not Minecraft on it.
And
it's a fake iPad.
Yeah, I got to actually see the little boys around the age of between 4 to 6 just grabbed Sock Monster and just like ripped it down. And I had a couple of sales that the parents were just embarrassed because the child was like go through the book. But the funniest story was I don't know if you ever read Bread and Butter.
No, I haven't read that one.
Okay, that is one of my personal favorites. It needs a sequel. And Bread and Butter was it's like an old noir detective, hardened like Humphrey Bogart kind of Black Falcon parody with food, just nothing but food puns. And it was the opportunity for me to say something like, that Miss Broccoli walks in, and it's like, Miss Broccoli walked into my office and she had stalks that went on for days, and I was just like,
nice.
Yes, this is what I'm doing now. But anyway, this little girl asked me about the story, and I gave her the postcard, and she really liked it, and I told her about the whole thing. and then she started giving what I should do with it. And since they were food, then they would be scared of forks. And the one way to get them to talk is if they took their forks and they made the bad food talk by putting the forks in them. And just as she was just like, and I was just like, okay. And by the end of it, it was like Guantanamo Bay for food. And I was just kind of like, okay, thank you, like I like, so, but
I can see that.
Yeah,
and that's the. Go ahead.
No. I
Yeah, because for me, I've been lucky in that my new book. I continued my Doblin School series. I hadn't expected to. But I've been very lucky. It's been weird. Like I'd released the third Kevin book, and I was getting people going, "Hey, great! You have a new Kevin book. When are we getting a new Doblin book?" Okay. I didn't think because they got some poor reviews. Then I did the baseball and alien books. They were like, "Yay, this is great." We're waiting on the Doblin review, because I kept getting emails and stuff, and then I actually read the book to my class, and I could tell in the reaction. I'd read a couple of the Kevin books, and they read the Doblin book. For my fifth graders, I was like, yeah, it's sequel time. And so I have one student in my class, after he came in, he didn't start the year with me. He came in about midway through as I was reading the Doblin book, the superhero book, to the class. He, instead of going out and playing soccer with the rest of the kids, he would stand next to me, and we would talk about the book. And he would give me suggestions for the sequel about things that could happen, and we would actually sit there and debate about this world that I had created. And I said, well, nobody can fly, that can't happen. And then I looked at him, and then he actually gave me some good ideas. So I was like, actually, that's pretty good. I'll put that in the next book. And so he's been all excited. So it's wonderful to be able to, because they will give you good ideas, and then you can also go, yeah, that's a little far. I don't think we want to have torture in a picture book. But yeah, if you can get yourself into schools and get yourself to your audience, that's the way to go. And so it sounds like for you that would be like, for your marketing, to begin connecting with teachers, if you know of any personal any teachers out there in LA, just get yourself into schools, and that is almost, you're guaranteed to get some kids. Because the other thing I've noticed, when you think about your own self from your own school days, how did you learn about books? Well, your teacher said made you either read them. You will read this. There will be a lesson on Sock Monster, and it's due Friday.
I like the lesson plan, by the way. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm just continuing to create. I'm really excited about Soaked. I hope that people like that. I've never spent this much time on any of my books before, and then I've started working. I've on something called Wishbones that may or may not be its final title, but that thing, I don't even know. It may be too complicated for middle graders, but it's intended to be. It's about dinosaurs in Los Angeles. Like this kind of time effect thing happens. Right. But these two kids are basically trapped in LA with dinosaurs running around. And what was that? What was that?
I didn't hear it.
No, the look on your face.
No, it's something flashed on my phone flashed. I was like, make sure my kid's about to walk in the door. So I was just trying to look at that. So is Wishbone? Let me double check. Or Soaked, not Wishbone. Is Soaked the? Because I saw on Facebook you had like the different covers that you were voting for. Is that the? Is that the middle grade book that you're working? Is that the middle grade book that's coming out?
Yeah, it's coming out April 22nd. It's already available for pre-order on Amazon.
Okay.
it's about a kid that he stands up to the school bully on the last day of class, and as they're going home, everyone in school gets the same text message. The kid's name is Aiden, the hero of the story, and the text message says $500 gift card and full immunity next year to the kid that brings me Aiden.
Oh, wow.
That's Jacob. So just Aiden is sitting there with his two friends, and the text message happens, and the entire bus just turns around and looks at them. And so they're just like, okay, we got to get off the bus right now. So they end up getting trapped on the other side of the neighborhood from their house, and the entire neighborhood is after them, and it's a big water fight. It's a big water war that erupts over it. But yes, the parents are gone. Yes, that's explained.
I have been there. I have been there.
Yeah, no, it's
all right, man.
I think it's just a really fun cliffhanger, action-packed kind of page turner. It's surprising that age, but I'm hoping that it kind of gets kids into reading some longer stuff, because it is a very quick read, even though it's long. So.
Well, and I had talked with my editor about the current book that I'm working on. What I could see myself, what I plan on doing is, my next book is, as I explained to people, is about the size of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I think it's like about 1,000 words shorter than Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And so there are several books, that I have in mind to tell the story. And so what I could see happening is that once all probably 4 books are finished, re-releasing it into an omnibus, and just so that the kids could have something a little bit bigger, even on a paperback, because I'm working on an omnibus for it'll be like 200 pages. But
no, I laughed. Last time we talked, you had recommended Wool. And I bought the omnibus edition and opened it up on Kindle, and it was like location 1 of 400 million, and I'm just like,
well, I also think that it is what the Kindle has allowed people to do the serials again, like Dickens would have done back in the 1800s, and it's also kind of a neat way, is it a marketing thing? I don't know, but it is interesting in that, in April I'm going to release, the book, knowing full well that there's a cliffhanger, and I know where the story's going to end, but this way you can have, 100 pages, and then hopefully, because I'll be doing this pre-release thing, and because I'm getting better at organizing myself, writing this longer book, more detailed, took me longer. I literally had about 11,000 words and went, this does not work. It is a mess, and so started over again. And so that put me about a month behind, with a full-time job. So when you throw 11,000 words again, you start out. So this time around, I've got the new book coming. I've already started the book after it by simply organizing it. So it's, I've got an outline. I had heard from R.L. Stine that he actually had he had his out by chapters, like chapter 1, this happens, chapter 2, and then boom, 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 boom. And I thought, well, maybe I need to try that, so that way I'm not wandering as I'm typing. If I can have a 2,000 word outline, chapter 1 is called this, and this what happens. Chapter 2 is called this, and this is what happens. So I don't, because when I really like typing and when I'm really telling the story, that is a blast. You're getting into it and you get into that zone and you know the feeling, but then sometimes you wander and you're like, where's Jake going? Where are these characters doing? What did I have them do before? And so for the next book, after this one that's coming out, it's going to be it'll be more organized for me. Hopefully I can get it out quicker and not, get lost in the forest per se. So, as they say. All right, man. Well, I'm going to need to let you go, and as soon as this video is up, I will message you, and we can send it out on our stuff. And it's good to catch up with you. Sorry I wasn't able to catch up the last couple of months. School gets real busy around this time of the year, so we'll be in touch. All right, man.
Talk to you soon. Bye bye.
All right, man. I'll catch up with you later.